I want to show y'all a little something I just picked up here a few days ago off layaway. This here is a Ruger 2245 chambered in 22 long rifle. It's got the 5.5-inch bull barrel. The front sight's oversized blade sight. The rear sight, it is adjustable for elevation and windage. These sights are alright once you get used to them. A lot of people like to put a little bit of paint or something right there on that front sight, you know, a little better visibility. I have no problems with them. And as everybody knows, on a 2245, the grip is angled the same as a model 1911. Which brings me to this question. Ruger called this the 2245. Yeah, it's chambered in 22 long rifle. But the 45 part, not all 45s are 1911s. And all 1911s are not 45s. Why didn't they just call it the 2211 or the 1122? And it just beats me. As you can see, this model has the replaceable panels. And you can pretty well doll this up about any way you want to. Make it look really prettyful. You can also use the 1911 panels on here, but you will have to do some trimming right here. As you can see, the controls are placed. Here's a safety. Here is a magazine release. And here's a bolt release, or bolt catch, or whatever you want to call it. Let's see what comes with it. You got two of these magazines right here, 10 rounds. Got the little thumb assist thingy right here. One thing I don't like about it is the way this bottom piece comes out like it. I think if I was on Ruger's engineering team, I'd try and find a way to make it more like the standard model magazines. They don't protrude out near as far. You got a rail you can put on top of the pistol here, and it comes with the replacement screws, and you can mount a scope or optic on it. As you can see right here on the top, it's been drilled and tapped 1, 2, 3 places right there. And if you are going to put the rail on it and use an optic, I would suggest using Loctite. Also comes with a little hex key. You can remove the panels on a grip with this. And you have the lock right here that will render the firearm useless. Put that key in right here, turn it clockwise, it'll freeze the insides of the pistol up. Got a pretty good size master lock type lock. This is not to lock a case with, it's to lock a gun with. Everybody knows how that goes. You just pull the bolt back, put the lock down in there, lock it, holds it open like it. Not made to lock a case. And speaking of the case, this one's black. Every 2245 or Mark III standard I've seen at the gun shops or here on YouTube, they come in a gray case. I know the Hunter models come in a green case, and the 2245 lights come in the white cardboard box. But this one here come in a black case. I was just wondering if this was something Ruger just started doing, or maybe they were running low on gray cases at the factory and just slapped it all in here. Hey, doesn't matter to me. It's not a deal breaker. But as far as locking the case, so see this little lip right here on the front? What I do, I go get one of those little suitcase padlocks. And then I'll take a drill bit and go right down to here. Zip. And you put the little suitcase padlock in there. No problem. If say you're going on a trip and you're going to take a flight instead of drive, you lock it up. Just make sure there's no ammo in the box or in the gun whatsoever. Get to the ticket counter at the airport, tell them you have this. Hey, they'll check it out, make sure there's no ammo in it. and you're good to go. There's a couple things on here a lot of people don't like. They really don't care for this loaded chamber indicator. Now, my past experience with Mark III firearms, I just keep some break freeze sprayed in there from both sides, down in there. Keep it cleaned out real good, get all the dirt, grime, and grit out. Ain't never had no problems with this. A lot of people like to replace that. A lot of people also remove the magazine disconnect. That way, when they're taking the gun apart to clean it, they don't have to go through the steps of inserting and ejecting the magazines a couple of times, which you have to do. It is part of the stripping and reassembly process. So I'm going to go ahead and have that done. And when you do have that done, you have to replace it with a bushing, and I think you can get that from either Tandem Cross or Volquartsen. Also, a fella here on YouTube, his name's Chuck, explained that a lot of people like to replace the trigger mechanism, and he says that's not necessary. You can go ahead and remove, or rather replace, the sear with a Volquartsen sear, and it will lighten up the trigger pull quite a bit. Not to the point of a competition trigger, but it'll lighten it up. Myself, as far as the trigger goes, I'm just going to leave it alone. As far as field stripping this gun, if you don't know what you're doing and you're not sure about it, don't do it. This thing can be a holy frickin' terror to take apart and put back together if you don't know what's going on with it. There's a lot of videos here on YouTube that shows the process, and after you do it 3 or 4 times, it'll get a lot easier. It's just repetition. But for God's sake, if you aren't sure about it and you don't feel good about it, then take it to a gunsmith or your gun shop or wherever. Let them do it the first time or two. This pistol right here, it's not one of those you have to take apart and clean every 200 or 300 rounds. Myself, all I do with the other Mark IIIs I've had and Mark IIs, I would just clean inside the chamber really good, get the feed ramp really clean, that loaded chamber indicator, make sure all the grit and stuff's out of it, clean the barrel out real good, and then just put oil, a couple of drops where needed. And as far as a bolt back here, all I would put on it would be like some ballistol or frog lube around the outside of it, rub it in right good, and then this part of the outside bolt, do the same with it. And on those other Mark IIIs, like I said, never had a bit of problem with them. It's not necessary to field strip this gun very often. I don't recommend it. I know of people that's had their Mark III pistols maybe 5 years, longer than that. Got about 5,000 rounds through it, maybe more. They've never had it apart the first time, have never had to. Have never had any malfunctions with it. What I just showed you there, that's pretty much how they keep theirs clean too. Yeah, they should go ahead and have it field stripped, but like I'm saying, they haven't. And that's just a testament to the reliability of these Mark III pistols. They just frickin' work. If properly took care of, this is the kind of gun your grandchildren will end up having. And if they take care of it, their grandchildren would have the same gun. This is one of these pistols right here, kind of like the 22 Marlin rifles, you know, the Model 60 or the 1022 Ruger rifle. Kind of gun you hand down from generation to generation. I got some CCI standard velocity ammo here, 40 grain. Let's go ahead and fire a few rounds and see how she does. What do you say we give this bad boy a try? I got some steel hanging over there from my target frame. First 10 rounds. Put in another magazine, 10 more rounds. Fired off 10 shots, heard it hit steel 10 times. Well, that first 20 rounds of CCI went through without a hitch, no problems whatsoever. Also had a mixture of some other ammo, and I mean some really crappy stuff too. I'm talking Blazers, I'm talking Remington Thunderbolts, Remington Cyclones, the golden bullets, you know, it's got that really waxy feel to them. I put about 40 rounds of that mixture through this. No malfunctions whatsoever. You know, this to me is just going to be a plinker, just a target pistol. I'm not a competitive shooter. I just like to get out and have fun. Maybe head out with some of my buddies. We might bet $1 or $2 on some targets. You know, something like that. But, hey, this is the right gun for that purpose right there. You can always buy a .22 pistol a lot cheaper, but it's like anything else, you get what you pay for. Ruger 2245, I'm going to have this one a long while, okay? Well, this is Garage Guy. I'm going to get out of here. Y'all take care now.